Let's move next to the mechanical treatment. So we've just reviewed the vegetative treatments, and for the purpose of this sample exercise that you have on sample exercise number 1, you should have marked under vegetative treatment only the numbers 2, 5, and 6. Okay, under mechanical treatment. Mechanical treatment or treatments are described on page 24 of your land evaluation manual. On page 24, it's talking about item number 4, control brush or trees. Item number 15, farm on the contour or cross slope. 16, use divided slopes or strips. 17, constructing level terraces. 18, install drainage system. 19, install grassed waterways or diversions. Or 20, if none of the above are checked, we have a category there for no mechanical treatment needed. Well, if we look at each of these items, underneath 14, control brush or trees, mechanical or chemical, when would this be applicable? Well, if our manual is telling us this may be accomplished by spraying with chemicals or use of specialized machinery, purposes to improve desirable vegetative cover by removing or killing undesirable brush and trees, or removing timber so land can be farmed. In other words, we are on a cultivated cropland site. There's no indication at this site that there are undesirable species of brush or trees. You would need to evaluate that within the parameters of the site. And here, where this is a practice exercise, you are not actually at this location. There's nothing here that tells us that we have undesirable brush or trees. So we should not have checked item number 14 in this case. We are on Class 3 land cultivated. Class 3 land cultivated should be farmed on the contour or across the slope, so we should have checked item number 15. Do we use divided slopes or strips? Well, let's look at the parameters under that on page 24 of the manual. It says divided slopes or strips, practices that are effective in reducing wind and water erosion. Mechanical practices 15 and 16 are used on all cultivated land, class 2 through 4, with slopes above 3% non-irrigated or 2% irrigated. Well, we have 12% slope, which is in that category, and we are on class 3 land. So we should have marked item number 16 on this practice exercise using divided slopes and or strips. I want to take just a minute to regress here. If you are at a location in the field and you're evaluating a site, you would not automatically use divided slopes or strips. This may be class 2 or 3 land, but if you're at a location where the entire length of the slope is, say, 60 meters, it's not feasible to divide a 60-meter slope. So you have to use some judgment when you're actually at one of these locations. And on the laboratory tape on this exercise on land evaluation, which you'll be watching after this one, I will be expecting you to evaluate those locations in terms of whether or not you would use that, even though you might be on class 2, 3, or 4 land. So on those exercises that will be coming up, you will need to evaluate whether or not that site is applicable for the use of dividing the slope. Item number 17, constructing level terraces. On page 24 of the manual, it says a level terrace is an earthen embankment with a support ridge on the lower side. They are used to catch or divert runoff water on class 2 or 3 lands with less than 8% slopes. If you were to put a terrace on land with in excess of 8% slope, it would probably fill and break and cause more severe erosion than what it was being designed to prevent. This particular site has a slope of 12%. So that's well above the 8% parameter that you can go up to for its installation of terraces. So we should not have marked item number 17, constructing level terraces at this location. Installing a drainage system, you would only mark that if there's an indication of a high water table where you would need to create a greater depth of soil profile while installing a drainage system. There's no indication of that at this site, so we should not have marked number 18. Number 19, installing grassed waterways and or diversions. Grassed waterways, diversions are also sometimes called sediment basins. These are going to occur at the base of draws or basically what we call a concentrated flow area in the field. So if the site that you're being asked to evaluate is located in one of these concentrated flow areas and it drains a large enough amount of land, then the use of a grass filter strip is a very good soil conserving practice. Basically what this would involve is establishing permanent grass cover in the bottom of that draw or concentrated flow area. And these are designed not necessarily to trap and hold all of the water that may be exiting that field from that location, but they're really designed to filter the water. In other words, slow it down enough to where it does not cut into the soil and take the soil away with it. So they're really a mechanism whereby which the soil remains behind, even though the water may occur, the precipitation may occur at a rapid enough rate to where water is going to exit that field. We don't want the soil leaving with it. At the bottom of these concentrated flow areas, they may install what is called a diversion. Also, you'll commonly hear these called sediment basins. Those are designed to trap and impound the water and hold it, and thus allow it not to leave the field. You've got to be very careful on these that they are installed properly, generally with the help of the NRCS or National Resource Conservation Service, and designed properly, because if not properly designed and these overflow or overfill, you can get extremely severe erosion from it's like the breaking of a dike or a dam. Well, at this particular location, there's nothing here that tells us that we're in the bottom of a concentrated flow area, so we should not have marked number 19, installing grass waterways. And 20, I've already explained, no mechanical treatment needed, so we would not have marked that one either, since we did mark items number 15 and 16 above. So at this particular location, or example exercise, under mechanical, we should have marked number 15, farm on the contour or across the slope, and number 16, using divided slopes or strips. With the caution to remember that in field exercises, look at the location and only mark using divided slopes or strip if those slopes are long enough to divide. You might be asking yourself, how long is long enough to divide? Well, my estimation of that is that these slopes need to be 100 meters or more in length, or it's really not feasible to divide them. And what we mean by dividing is that we're taking that slope and not putting it all in the same cultivation or cropping practice at the same point in time, so that we have that slope divided in some cases twice, in some cases more than twice, to where we have alternating strips of crop and non-crop situation, or different types of crops that are established at different times, so that we never at any one point in time do we have the entire length of that slope with bare soil or exposed soil.